we obviously can't be violent. Look at the damage that has been done to the Republican movement, and we just January 6th just handed them everything they wanted, and I think that's why they. That's why they didn't prepare for January 6th. As Nunes just told us, they're prepared for everything when there's a big event on the mall. They didn't have extra security. They didn't do anything for January 6th. They wanted that to happen, in my opinion. So we can't obviously be violent in any way. Let them have that. But I want to go a step further. Last night in my Wednesday night special, I talked about the word praxis. Have you ever heard of the word praxis?
No.
Okay. You'll hear it if you hang out with communists, okay? Marxists. Praxis is actually an old concept from Aristotle. It came up, 2,300 years ago. And it is the idea that action forms the basis of politics. Not thought, not legislation, but action, okay? And it was revived in the 19th century by a snake oil salesman named Karl Marx. And praxis is actually the entire basis for his philosophy. Critical race theory have used Marxism to justify their own practice. The ends justify the means. We have to take action now. Okay, how many times have you heard that? We have to take action now. When Joe Biden was talking about sending people door to door, what did that remind you? When he said, we're going to send people, we got people that are going to go door to door and ask about, have you been vaccinated? What did that sound like to anybody? Maybe it was just me. I thought it sounded like community organizing. Remember when we used to make fun of community organizers? Yeah, they're going door to door and they're going to get things done. And we mocked that a community organizer was in charge of our country under Barack Obama. Well, he's still really running the country. He's the guy. He's the power behind the Biden administration and the minds behind the Biden administration. And we have become community organizers. That is praxis. And it is important, as I said in last night's program, to understand this. Every time conservatives use the word praxis, an Antifa basement dweller loses their nose ring. I've heard that. I don't know if that's true, but it's a tricky subject because it isn't a bad thing to take action. It's just the idea that speech and action together form the fabric of politics. This is just praxis, just action. Just take action. Chaos, really. One of the biggest influences in my research on praxis was Hannah Arendt. She was a Jewish German philosopher who lived through the Nazi regime. She's done some amazing work on the Holocaust. And she's the one who coined the term the banality of evil when describing Adolf Eichmann, that it was just like it was an everyday event, just kind of,
routine.
Just routine, okay? And she wrote a lot about Marx's connection to praxis or action. She believed action is boundless. She said the smallest act in the most limited circumstances bears the seed of the same boundlessness because one deed, sometimes one word, can change every constellation. We know this as Christians to be true. You can say one word, and that one word just turns a key, and the Spirit takes the rest. Praxis, taking action. Here's what I want you to do. It is time to extend. Now, listen to me very carefully. It is time to extend our hand and take action and befriend and be kind to our liberal friends. Because our liberal friends, watch my language carefully here, our liberal friends are under attack, and our liberal friends are beginning to realize, I think I might be in with the wrong group. But they have no place to go, all right? Because they've They believe that we are monsters. They believe that we're trying to destroy the country, but they're seeing that liberals are not liberals anymore. Some liberals are playing along, and it may look like they're part of the mob, but they aren't. I think they're scared, and you can see it everywhere. Look at Bill Maher. He is certainly not a conservative. He's a liberal. And what has he been saying lately? He is disgusted by the leftists. And we have to now understand the difference between a liberal and a leftist. We have to get it down. It's got to be something that you can spot clearly. It might seem obvious, but it's something we need to be very, very clear about. We cannot lump liberals in with leftists anymore. There's too much at stake. And when we do, we box those allies, the people who don't want communism, don't want authoritarianism, don't want America to become the new China. Those people are trapped because they're afraid to say anything because they know what happens, because they've watched it firsthand when their group of quote unquote friends and allies become a mob and destroy people's lives. We have to think the difference between leftist and liberals. The leftist is Antifa, Black Lives Matter, critical race theory. Any sort of Marxist ideology is leftist. It is not liberal. Leftists are anti-capitalism and socially radical. Leftists use actually liberal as an insult, as a nasty word. They're tired of all the liberals. But the average liberal, your neighbor friend, they don't understand that yet. Maybe some of them are starting to wake up. If you read through critical race theory, you'll quickly see that leftists are focused on liberals, not conservatives. Critical race theorists have already written off conservatives. That's beyond saying, but they realize they need to get liberals in order to achieve their activism, to appease their gods. They need praxis from those liberals. It's the same relationship you see with parasites and hosts. A parasite, leftists, need a host, liberals, to survive. That is all that Joe Biden is. He's a host that the parasites have infected. They needed him to make everybody, all the liberals, go, well, he's better than Donald Trump. And you know what? Joe Biden, he's crazy. He says crazy things, but he's not going to destroy America. Little did they know he had been infected by leftists, and they used that body to accomplish their goals so it can spread the disease. It's the reason leftists have adopted the term democratic socialist, because they need that democratic to soften the word socialist. They needed the host body. We have differences with liberals, but the differences we have with them are microscopic in compared to the differences we have with leftists. And I urge you to show liberals kindness, understanding, and disagree with them, even though you're going to get shot down a lot of times. But I'm telling you, this is really important, to open the door for a liberal to walk through, because we have to live out our values. There are many liberals who are afraid. They don't know what to do, and they're looking at the insanity of the leftists, and they're trapped. It's not a new idea, not for conservatives, certainly not for me. It's not something we haven't been doing for years in various ways. It's something that I've encouraged for years now, but we need to double our efforts and try harder to let liberals know you have an ally in us. And the way I would like to express this, and I've said it for a long time now, but I believe this is the secret. Two things. Find the things that we can all unite on and serve others. Once we get out of our own little world and our own problems, things get better. So that's one of the reasons why I'm such a big supporter of OUR and the Nazarene Fund. Not only do I believe it is the moral right thing to do, and that in history will record the names of those who participated in trying to stop slavery. They will be remembered as an Oscar Schindler or a Frederick Douglass or Abraham Lincoln. They will be remembered that way. History will judge us. But also because it's the one thing. Look, if you can't agree that slavery is wrong and slavery should be stopped and do something, even a little thing about slavery together, no matter what we disagree on, if we can't work together on that, I know who you are. Okay. I just know who you are. You won't stop slavery. Same thing with the Bill of Rights. Give me 9, give me 8 of the top 10 for the Bill of Rights. Give them to me. If you disagree with those, well, then you're probably a leftist, not a liberal. This is not a matter of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Liberals are not our enemy. In a technical sense of the word, anyone who believes in America believes in liberalism. It's just a matter of making sure that people who could be our allies and are our allies, not on policies, but on many of the principles, they're our fellow Americans. And the most important thing we can do for this audience is just keep doing what you've done. Keep being yourself, but double your efforts and try to be a peacemaker. It will make a difference.